What Am I Rolling? A twice-monthly RPG one-shot podcast, hosted by me, Fiona. This is part 2 of our Quiet Year one-shot, so make sure you listen to the first part before continuing on with this episode. In the Quiet Year, the players collectively define and explore the struggles of a post-apocalyptic community and attempt to build something good within their quiet year. Every decision and every action is set against a backdrop of dwindling time and rising concern. The game is played using a deck of cards. Each of the 52 cards corresponds to a week during the quiet year. Each week, the active player draws a card from the top of the deck and then reads it. They then carry out the actions or answer the questions that are specified on that particular card. Each card triggers certain events, bringing bad news, good omens, project delays and sudden changes in luck. Decisions made are then recorded on a map, which is constantly evolving. Parts of the map will be literal cartography, whilst other parts will be symbolic. Once the card has been resolved, some quick upkeep occurs. Notably, projects that are already in motion by the community get a bit closer to being completed. Finally, the active player picks an action from a short list. Make a decision, hold a discussion, or discover something new. These 3 actions give players a meaningful but difficult set of choices. Do they spend time listening to each other in the hopes that they will be listened to in turn? Do they pursue their own goals, or the goals of their community? Do they focus inwards or outwards? At the end of the quiet year, the Frost Shepherds will come, and the game will end. One last thing before we begin. Naturally, there are times in this one-shot where the players, and myself, mostly myself, get the rules wrong or forget something plot-wise. Whilst we always endeavour to stick to the rules wherever possible, at the end of the day, we all make mistakes. And what matters most is that everyone enjoys themselves. Fall. Week 1.
Okay.
Do you know?
My turn.
Your turn. That's it.
5 of clubs.
Well, that could be... Yes, it is now fall.
/ autumn.
So we read it out. 5 of clubs. What have you got?
The parish arrives. Who are they? Why have they chosen your community and for what? Or a small gang of marauders is making its way through the local terrain. How many are there? What weapons do they carry? So I'm going to say the parish arrives.
Mm-hmm.
So in the community centre one day, everyone turning up, the usual discussions about crop harvests, the projects on the dynamite, the walls, and then a couple of men walk to the front and a woman amongst them. And they all have a symbol of dynamite kind of scratched in dirt on their foreheads.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, "We have been with you this whole time, pushing you forwards. You thought we were in the southeast, but really we were helping you. You must show your allegiance to the god properly, otherwise this world will fall."
Oof. 4.
So,
Did they call themselves anything?
parish of Boom.
Boom Parish.
Boom Parish.
Project-
Debut album coming soon.
I can't wait. Projects are reduced by 1, so I think your chess masterpiece comes out. So describe that for me.
So, rather pointlessly now, a whole kind of array of dynamite has been put up between us and the abandoned cultist.
So is it like no man's land in a way?
Yeah. Like underground mines and stuff all tethered in to the armory.
Mm-hmm. And then the generator's gone down to 2 weeks, and the rest of the wall to the south is 3 weeks. And you get an action as well.
I'm going to hold a discussion. I think these cultists who have infiltrated us, this parish of Boom Boom, are dangerous. But we don't know how many there are within our community. So we can't make any direct action against them. What do you think is the best next step?
I think it's interesting how this cult was on our doorstep and then have disappeared, and now these people claiming to be from the southeast from that place have now come, and they've clearly not been there for several weeks. I don't know what dangers they pose. I feel we should not welcome them here. We should ask them to leave. Oh, it's all tense already. I hate autumn.
Fall. Week 2.
3 of clubs. Ooh, someone leaves the community after issuing a dire warning. Who? What is the warning? Or someone issues a dire warning and the community leaps into action to avoid disaster. What is the warning? Start a contentious project that relates to it. Okay, well, it's going to be the second one. So, following on from the parish of Boom, they come to several of our meetings every day and they say the same thing over and over again. And it's in a way that is not necessarily, it doesn't sound threatening, it's not aggressive, but it's the words they use, not necessarily the tone. Eventually, they reveal, or the woman reveals, the reason why the rest of the cult southeast of our encampment left was to do with those llamas. You laugh, but it is something that they're getting closer and they're getting greater in number. It's almost like there's a film, I think it's called Black Sheep, based in New Zealand, where the sheep become almost zombified and they break down the fence to the farm and they start eating the people in it. It's that they use that sort of level of tactics, like saying the llama's getting closer. They are hungry for flesh. There's not much in terms of vegetation outside our palisade, and they are looking hungry. And a few kids, they actually use the missing 2 boys, saying, they were last seen going out east, even though at times it's not like we thought they were seen going south towards the lake. And these are rumours because of that big stake in our children, that they are the main workforce and we need to look after, we need to protect them. I think what happens is that we need to protect them, we're going to leap into a contentious project. I think we're going to launch almost like a sting operation to try and kill off as many llamas as possible. No. We're going to tear down that dead tree, which is their headquarters of these llamas.
The beautiful dead tree.
Yeah. I think it's going to take, sometimes it's such a big one. It's like been there for hundreds of years. I'm going to say it's going to take about 3 weeks, and then we're just going to go either torture it or pull it to the ground whilst fending off any llamas that are there.
Evil llamas.
Evil llamas. I'm thinking 3 weeks.
Yep. If not more llamas.
4 weeks then.
Yeah.
Other actions. Project dice goes down to 1, so the generator is now 1 week away. Ooh. The rest of the wall goes down to 2 weeks. And then another action. I'm going to start a new project. I'm now going to scout, because we are limited in scrap metal. I'm going to try and find specific items, because we're almost finished with the generator. I'm going to find specific items to make the generator solar powered. I think it's going to take a little bit while, because now it's in scarcity. So I'm thinking maybe 4 weeks.
Yep, that sounds good.
Next to the farm. And that is my turn.
Fall. Week 3.
Draw a card. I have the Ace of Clubs, which is...
Oh, it's a big one.
Bloody hell. Okay. The community becomes obsessed with a single project. Which one? Why? Choose one. They decide to take more time to ensure that it is perfect. Add 3 weeks to the project die. Wow. They drop everything else to work on it. All other projects fail. Oh, that is rough. If there are no projects underway, the community becomes obsessed with a grandiose vision. Hold a discussion about this vision. in addition to your regular action. So, one of these projects is going to take 3 extra weeks, and all the others are going to fail.
No, is it only which one, and then choose one of them? So either one will take 3 weeks or the rest of them will fail. Basically, we can either get rid of 3 out of the 4 projects, or one project will get an extra 3 weeks to it.
Oh, that's a lot easier. So the projects were finish the wall.
To the south.
Generator.
Yep,
Which is
1 week to
away.
go.
And what was this one again?
Finding specific parts to make that generator once it's complete solar powered.
Okay.
And we've got pulling down the dead tree with...
I feel pulling down the dead tree is the big one that everyone's worried about. So,
Now,
I mean,
yeah.
it's on 4 weeks, but can I move it to 6?
Well, we 7 weeks.
Okay, so 6 plus 1. Do I do another one next week?
Yeah. So describe what happens then.
A crazy man. The llamas are coming. The llamas are coming. At a community session, and everyone just kind of freaks the hell out. People start worrying, feeling this needs to be done carefully. We need to keep an eye on the llamas. So instead of just heading straight there and destroying the headquarters, the tree of the llamas, we need to get materials, we need to get weapons, we need to get shielding, we need to get armour, we need more. We're not capable of taking them down just yet.
Whew. Yep, sounds good.
And my turn.
Yep.
Everything goes down by 1.
Yep.
So your initial generator,
It's fixed.
random name generator,
Thankfully it was in the last week, so...
and the project to kick it off into solar power goes down by 1, and the wall is on 1 week left to go.
Fantastic.
And the llama's down to 6. Or shall it stay on 7?
I
as
think
it
keep it
was
on
something
7
that's
because it's
just
added up.
happened. Yep.
Okay, and then actions. Oh, action.
Action. Discover something new. There's a local kind of shopping mall that they find that's kind of sunk into the ground with a sinkhole. Inside it, they find the usual thing like food and stuff they usually scavenge for, but they also find a shotgun.
Nice. Where is this mall?
Let's say the mall is just outside of the wall, maybe being disrupted by the cave-in, so they find it just on the edges. Supermarché.
How big is it?
Kind of Hicksville. It's big enough to have a Wendy's, but not so big that it would have a Target. I'm saying those words like I know what American shops are. I believe Target is a nerd shop.
Target is a bit like TK Maxx or Primark, with more home furnishings and food stuff.
See, this has been educationally.
It is educational. Okay, so it's like, is it like a strip mall then?
Yes, but it has like a hunting shop where they find
shotgun.
the shotgun. But it's like a hunting shotgun, like a take down pheasants shotgun rather than a 12 gauge.
How many shells do they find?
4.
It's good to know. Really.
Discovery.
Cool.
That's
All right.
my turn.
Fall. Week 4.
My turn. Yes. 4. Strongest amongst you dies. What caused the death? The weakest amongst you dies. Who's to blame for their death? I'm going to say one of the strongest dies. What caused the death? A freak accident. They were building the wall. It's like a young boy, probably aged 16 or 17, like in his prime. Call them Bradley. And they are helping push up one of the, I think just a piece of thing, and someone gets stuck underneath it. And they go to pull that person out, and as they do, the thing falls on top and crushes him.
Oh, Bradley.
And it's a big shock because his mother, adopted mother, Mabel, has only just recovered from tinnitus. Yeah.
Tinnitus.
No.
Tetanus.
Oh, that's so close.
It's that
It's
ringing.
not a laughing matter, Samuel.
Tinnitus certainly is
What?
not.
Huh?
Who's dead? Brandon.
But it's quite a shock, and it's very upsetting. He was like almost like, I like the idea with that sort of the frustration with the kids early on with the almost breaking of the wall. He was like one of the people to stop it or try and make them see sense, and now he's gone.
That friction has started again.
So
Just when we least need friction.
I know. Okay, so then the projects. So the wall is now complete. Can you describe it?
So the wall finally completed on this side of the map, and it kind of stretches towards the forest, kind of finishing as the forest becomes thickest. So it still allows animals to walk towards the settlement for hunting.
And the scrap metal quest continues with 2 weeks to go. And the preparations for the attack on the dead tree with the radioactive llamas continues. The action. What else do we need? We've got some house, we've got some food. I'm going to start a project. I'm going to build a proper place for a workshop. Specifically, I want to... No, not a workshop. I want to fix the old broken down car. I want to make it into something we can use to transport things so that we can find the scrap metal stuff. We can start disassembling this London IS thing, because we are lacking scrap metal, but that is a whole ton of scrap metal that we need to get out, and we just need to have some way of transporting it. So I'm going to say we are going to do a project to fix that car in some way. It's probably a 3-week project. What do you think?
To move the Millennium Wheel.
No, to fix the car.
Stage 1. Yep.
Yeah, stage 1. Yeah. So I think 3
So
weeks.
create some wheels out of metal.
Exactly.
That kind of jazz.
Fix it up. Because you only said there's one jerry can of petrol in it. So we need to find some other petrol. So it'll be fixing it and being able to run it. That's the project.
Sounds good.
Fall. Week 5.
My turn.
Samuel.
Okay, I got an 8. Either someone sabotages a project and the project fails as a result, who did this and why, or someone is caught trying to sabotage the efforts of the community. How does the community respond? So I'm going to say the religious ones, the cult, the parish of Boom, are found trying to sabotage the project to build the solar panel expansion to the generator. They get caught in this saying, it is not Boom's will to build, it is to destroy. We must destroy the llamas and nothing else. We must not try and build, we must only destroy. And this, of course, causes friction. The community respond. One of the community members gets knocked out as he's hit with a plank of wood, and there's beginning of fighting before some of the kind of the more level-headed members of the community can drag the two parties apart. So fighting or planning to fight the llamas goes down to 5. Your plan to renovate the car for use goes
2.
down to 2, and the generator
Thanks to your valiant efforts.
goes down to
1. Nice. Okay, action.
hold a discussion. I think we need to kick the cultists out. They've shown their hand. They can't live with us. They warned us about the llamas, which is good, but they need to go back or they need to leave.
Agreed. But what was the message they sent with the dog? Something else is at play here. They seem confused in their own message. I'm not sure how to proceed from here.
I think you're right. Either confusion or they're double playing us.
Fall. Week 6.
9 of clubs. The community works constantly, and as a result, a project finishes early. Or a group goes out to explore the map more thoroughly and finds something that has been previously overlooked. I'm going to say I'm going to finish the project of the fire llamas. I think after that
Revelation?
after the
After the revels.
After
the revelation.
After the revelation, hey, that this stuff's happening. Some of the members of the community just go out and take down the tree. It's a long journey there. Like, I don't think this map shows it properly. Like, it's all spread out with the wall and stuff, and it takes them a while to get there. But when they get there, and maybe it's just about to be dusk, and maybe there is... I like that idea of they start wrapping around, like, chains around the tree, or getting, like, things to hack at the roots and stuff. And in the distance, they see the llamas, and the llamas with glowing green eyes. And it's like one pair of eyes, two pairs of eyes, and then 3 or 4. And they're being... Yeah. Exactly. But they're sort of... They don't crowd around. There doesn't seem to be that many of them. And it's almost like it's an incredible sight to see this huge ancient tree, dry and petrified in a way, like pulled over relatively easily, actually, almost like cracked. And as it hits the sand that it's in, it sort of almost bursts and shrivels and like it, and it sort of goes up into the air. And of course, there's a moment of sort of, oh no, radiation, stuff like that, but it goes. So that tree is no more.
Sad times.
I'm gonna scratch it out so they have no more dead tree. Cool. Projects that finish. We get the solar panel stuff, because that tree was sort of, the whole sort of mission was laying over our minds. The community starts to go and find a lot more scrap metal than it was, so piecing it together. We managed to make a very, very basic solar panel. It takes a little while to get going, maybe a couple of days, but we're now starting to get, or be able to contain a little bit of solar power. It's going to, I think, maybe take another project or 2 to make sure we have sufficient supplies, perhaps, to make sure we last throughout the winter, but it's enough to get started. And the other project with the car goes down by 1. Final action is to hold a discussion. The parish of Boom is still within our community, and they try to disrupt our mission to make ourselves self-sufficient. Do we punish them or do we forgive them?
Punish. Make them leave. They could be told, either stay with us and worship your God in a peaceful and collaborative manner, or leave.
They already made us focus on one project for far too long with their scaremongering stories. I don't know. I feel we need a harsher punishment. And that ends that scene.
And scene.
And scene.
Fall. Week 7.
Sam.
My turn. I got a 10. So, harvest is here and plentiful. Add an abundance. Or, cold autumn winds drive out your enemies. Remove a threatening force from the map and the area. Well, isn't this a coincidence?
Yeah.
The winds, I think, come down. The religious folk, the evil religious folk for that matter, the parish of Boom, they feel the cold winds coming in. They feel this is their way to issue one last scaremongering thought before they make their departure, because they can feel the tide is turning against them. They no longer have control over this community. Yes, they managed them to go and attack some slightly glow-in-the-dark llamas for little reason, but they feel they were caught out with the engineering, so they're like, be warned, the time of cold is coming, the fire will be dampened, explosions will no longer happen, the energy will be taken from the world, and they run off, never to be seen again.
Which direction did they run off to?
They'd probably head back towards the cultish thing, but then continue going.
Southeast.
So, fair riddance to them.
Nice. Project Dice. So, the car gets fixed, and whilst it's battered and makes a horrific sound, it is now serviceable and can be used by any of the community. Like, primarily, people say we should get scrap metal, But that doesn't mean that's what it will be used for first. So that's what I was saying, finishing that project. What's your action?
Okay, my action. I think we're going to start a project. And we are going to build... Maybe someone is going to start trying to build a telescope. Using maybe some magnifying glasses that we found in the strip mall. Or something like that to build kind of like this makeshift thing so they can keep a better watch on the surroundings.
So is that going to go at the top of the watchtower then?
Eventually, I think, yes. But it would be built in town. But it's quite a scientific project. So it maybe be 6 weeks.
I was going to say, it's gathering materials and stuff. I don't know if it would take... Well, 6 weeks, maybe. Yeah, okay. I'd go with 6 weeks for that. And that's your turn.
Fall. Week 8.
Queen of Clubs. Disease spreads throughout the community. Choose one of the following. You spend the week quarantining and treating the disease. Project dice are not reduced this week. Or, nobody knows what to do about it. Add health and fertility as a scarcity. Well, we've only got one project on the go just now. So I think it's okay to leave that just now. So I'm going to say quarantine is the way forward. After getting rid of the parish, there is something in the water from the well. I think what happens is we discover that the water's been contaminated in some way. Now, whilst we don't have any direct evidence that it was the parish of Boom as a sort of a last attempt to
destabilize.
Yeah, like we find like a rag in it with some questionable, not even fluid. There's just something questionable about the water, but there's no way of testing it. All we know that is that people who've drunk from that well fall ill within 48 hours, and it seems to be almost like a dysentery type thing. So people are quarantined into one of the tiniest rooms in the shanty towns. And I think, so what we say was that 60 to 80 people, I think it'd be like a good fifth of the population growing to almost like a quarter, which is a lot of people in that room, and they're just sick. And we don't reduce any of the die this week. I'm gonna, for my action, I'm gonna hold a discussion. This act of sabotage really puts it into focus that if we're hit by a proper medical emergency, that we don't have anything to deal with it.
No, we don't. Maybe send out a search party for some better medical supplies. More Bear Grylls books.
And that's the scene.
Yeah, and scene.
And scene.
Fall. Week 9.
Sam, you're good.
Okay, I'm going to pick up card. I have a 6. Introduce a dark mystery among the members of the community. Or conflict flares up among community members, and as a result, a project fails. Introduce a dark mystery among the members of the community. I think it is going to be the lesser of two evils. Let's say that one of the children goes missing, but then one of the other families suddenly gain a child, but it's got a beard, but it looks very tacky and sewn on.
A sewn-on beard?
Well, not sewn into the skin, but like...
Okay.
Almost like the child has been shaved, and then that hair has been stuck onto its face.
So are you saying that this child was bald or had like long hair and then suddenly missing hair and it put on here?
And the new family is saying, no, it's not the same child, it's our child. This is...
Argument over...
Beardy Brad. We named it after Brad the hero.
Brad the hero.
Who died because he was working on the wall. No, this is our child. Not your child. And people aren't sure.
It's such a convincing... It could be either way.
It is... I mean, is it a child who'd been shaved and that shaved hair had been turned into a beard? Or is it actually a child with some very early facial hair? Nobody knows, and it's a point of contention.
Nice. I like it.
Good.
Great.
Brad doesn't.
Brad's dead.
Oh. For bread.
Project dice reduced by 1.
Okay.
Telescope goes down to 5 weeks.
Awesome.
And then an action.
Oh, I had a really good idea and it's now just completely left my brain. Oh yes. Go into the wood and we're going to start commencing hunting for a bear or creatures with more fur because as we're approaching colder months, we're going to need more like warm clothing.
Nice. Great idea.
So I'm thinking 3 weeks?
I think 3 weeks is good. It makes sense, like making sure we track these creatures because currently what we know about that field, from what I remember we said, it was like hares and deers and stuff like that. But to get proper things, we need a bit more tracking. I think that's a good idea.
I mean, deer pelts are fine, but...
For poor old Mabel, who's not doing so well.
Well, she's got another bearded child.
Oh, she has! It's her! I know it. All right.
Fall. Week 10.
Next week is the Jack of Clubs.
Ooh.
A project finishes early. Which one and why? If there are no projects underway, restlessness causes animosity, and animosity leads to violence. Who gets hurt? Well, thankfully, we do have a project. We've got 2 projects. So either we can get the telescope, or we can get the bear skins.
How close are we to the end of autumn?
3 cards left, technically. So I was going to go with telescope. No. I think it's a good point. I hadn't really thought about autumn. I think we do need that warmth. Like, all we've got is shantytown stuff. So I think we're going to finish the bear project. As soon as we start it, people get really behind it. And as a result, they go out and we manage to find not just bears, but, big animals. Bison, yes.
Elks.
There we go. Like a proper...
Oh.
No, but that's like a whole... Are they called packs? No. What? Like a brood of bison? No.
Herd?
Is it like a herd of elks?
I think. Shall I Google?
No. I will find out later. Or you can find out now, but I'm going to say it's... I'm going to say, because it's my thing, a herd of different creatures, but it's a herd of animals we've never seen before.
Ooh.
And as it's starting to get colder, these creatures are clearly migrating across the Great Plain as the nights are getting longer and cooler. And these creatures, they look like regular elks or bison, but I think what's important about them, what makes them different, is firstly, they have glowing eyes, similar to the llamas. I don't know, we should have gone after the llamas, but never mind.
Not much fur.
No. Well, it depends. Oh, alpacas. Those are the ones I'm thinking of that have the bigger fur. These creatures, because they've not been shaved or anything like that, they almost do have fur like sheep, and it comes out to quite big. But these creatures are big. Like, I would say they're a good 7 or 8 feet tall, like really big, but clearly herbivores. So clearly not like they're not going to eat us when we attack them. And I think we just get the element of surprise and take down half the herd. So we're not only stocked up on meat, but a good number of them, when we skin them, they're warm. The skin itself, though, is waterproof as well.
Ooh.
That's how lucky it is on that.
They're like duck, bison, elk hybrids.
Yes, or delks.
Nice. Delks.
Delks, we'll call them. Project Dice go better 1, so the work on the telescope goes down to 4. I'm going to start work. I'm going to start making people get the car towards the broken Millennium Wheel. Then I start getting that scrap metal in ASAP. I think because we've got that car working now, I'm going to say 2 weeks because we need that scrap metal ASAP because I think we need to start building.
Oh, the other side.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've not had any threats so far. It's all been on towards the east. So I'm going to say 2 weeks. And that's my turn.
Fall. Week 11.
Okay, let's take a card. We get a 2.
2.
Someone returns to the community. Who? Where are they? Or you find a body. Do people recognise who it is? What happened? Okay, So I'm going to go for the latter. They find a body in the well that may have been the cause of the poison. They found the cloth earlier, but actually delving further in, trying to investigate why the water is still so bad, part of it they can see there's a body buried, and they find one of the missing boys.
Oh my god.
In terms of what happened, the boy's eyes are missing.
Oh my god.
It looks like he was pushed after being tortured. Bam, bam, bam.
Whoa. Okay. Projects go down by 1.
Great.
So, yeah, telescope goes down to 3, and the scrap metal mission goes down to 1. An action scene.
I've been watching a lot of Dark. It's this German thriller. It's great.
Ooh, I've not seen that.
Netflix.
I'll look it up.
Started project. I think you're quite right. We are not very defendable from the West.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think it's important to understand why the mountain is so verdant and green. Whereas, we've set up shop near this forest, but apart from the forest, it's pretty scruffy.
Mm-hmm.
So why is there also green over there? So I'm going to put together a search party, maybe the same crack team of cool guys. Seeing as we've already had this crack team put together, this amazing group of scouts, maybe it could be a slightly quicker, but it's a long journey to have a look at this mountain, so maybe 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. I think that's fair.
See if there's anything there.
Nice.
Maybe specifically looking for a plan B.
A plan B.
If everything goes bad here.
Fall. Week 12.
7th of clubs. The project just isn't working out as expected. Radically change the nature of this project. Don't modify the project die. When it resolves, you will be responsible for telling the community how it went. Or something goes foul and supplies are ruined. Add a new scarcity. Well, I think new scarcity. Well, you've kind of already mentioned it. I think because we now have discovered the well being contaminated by the dead body, and the lake being so far away from us, access to clean running water is scarce as a result. So that's the scarcity now, clean. It will take the best part of a couple of hours to get new water, and even then we are very stingent about showering and washing clothes and stuff. It has to be limited, and we don't want it to go in the lake because we don't think that's fresh running water. Like, it will just be contained in the lake. And so obviously if people are going to wash stuff in the lake and then drink out of the lake, and then it could lead to worse things, that whole dysentery thing again. So we're being very limited. Like, we're taking water out of the lake and storing it separately and trying to purify it over like burning fires and stuff over the night. And that whole process has taken a long, long time to implement. Projects go down by 1. So the telescope is now on to 2. And then scrap metal, hooray!
Hey.
So I'm going to say with that scrap metal, we start bringing in quite a lot. And we managed to disassemble the London Eye, but not the London Eye, the generic Western desert version, Mad Max version of it. I think what happens is that we are able to repair any of the houses, like they're a bit more sturdier. The farm is sturdy, everything is supplied. We don't concentrate on the wall is fine, it's just more making sure the houses and the food storage places are set for winter. There shouldn't be as big an impact when the cold sets in. And then I am going to start a project. I'm going to try build the rest of this wall towards the mountain. I'm going to try and make it curve up towards the housing. We're scarce of metal and we're running out of clean water as well. I think 3 weeks. That's my turn.
Fall. Week 13.
Hey, I have King.
King, so the last week of autumn.
A natural disaster strikes the area. What is it? Choose one. Either You focus on getting everyone to safety, remove an abundance, and a project fails. Jeez. Or you focus on protecting your supplies and hard work at any cost. Several people die as a result. I feel we're quite a caring community. So, as the acid rain flies through, everyone runs to the fallout shelter just outside the wall. When they return, all the kind of metal shanty towns are kind of still standing, but anything wooden, like the dynamite shelter, has just melted to the ground, and the dynamite kind of, all the fuses have kind of just moulded and melted away.
It's unusable.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the next day, everyone arises to find their town slightly smudged and still a water problem.
And we need a project fails as well.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, so we've got to remove an abundance, so we're going to remove dynamite. And a project fails, so we've either got the telescope, or the wall, or the people going to the mountain.
Ooh. Telescope. As the rain comes flying in, the particularly skilled technical guy who's looking after the telescope, he just runs in terror, and as he does so, he knocks over the telescope and smash as it hits the ground.
No.
Then, as everyone starts to arise, disheartened but not defeatist, they are going to start a project.
So other projects are moved by one as well, so the walls will continue and the people to the mountain continue, so both on two. Okay. What's this new project?
Well, water is a pressing concern.
Yes.
Especially now that there's a lot of acid rain in it. So what they're going to do, we're going to send out another search party to try and find like one of old-fashioned water towers and see if it's... Actually, would that be horrendously poisonous by like apocalypse time?
You could just say try and find new sources of water.
New sources of water, maybe in some of the caves that have
absolutely.
formed.
Underground cave might have water in it. Yeah, absolutely.
3 weeks because they're searching nearby.
I think that's fine. Going towards the quarry, perhaps?
Yeah. Actually, they'll probably be towards the south because there's the lake there, so the lake must come from something.
Sounds good. So that's autumn.
That's my turn, yeah.
Winter. Week 1.
Winter.
So, at any point, this game can now end when...
Oh, jeez.
So, literally, if either of us pull the King of Spades, Frost Shepherds arrive and the game's over, and we have to describe how that ends. So...
Ooh.
Right, so the first week of winter.
Oh, jeez.
Well, that's that.
Game over, man.
It's
Game over.
So, it's the first day of winter, and recovering from the horrific onslaught of the acid rain, our community is split. Some are heading towards the mountains to try and find what is out there. Like, there's just always been this beacon of green. So a small search party has gone out there. Others are working on the rest of the wall to try and keep our community free. And another part of the community is trying to find clear water. So there's not many people here prepared for when they arrive at all. And the first people outside the settlement here that they have arrived is the screams. And there's fire. And suddenly there's an explosion as the dynamite field towards the southeast explodes, creating a huge hole in the walls. When the group of people come back from the mountain, maybe a week or so later, they just find the settlement strewn with bodies. All the children are missing. There is just nothing left. Everything is burnt to the ground. Any stock of dynamite has been taken. The generator has been stripped. The car is gone. The only thing left is the well. And scratched into the well is It's just a teeny tiny ghost. Is there anything you want to add?
Wonderful.
And that's The Quiet Year. I'm so sorry that ended so quickly. Oh.
What else is there?
Have a look, see what there is. Well, we was quite tense, so we had no abundances at all.
So there's a lot in winter of a project finishes early or start a project or this fails, this starts. It starts kicking off all the kind of actions. Oh, I really like that.
Nice, isn't it?
It's quite an interesting game in that you have to create your own hurdles. And it is very much a storytelling aid. But just looking at this map now, I'm thinking, cool, this would be good for a D&D setting.
Exactly.
It's almost like a pre-starter for another game.
Exactly. But yeah, congratulations, Sam. Yay!
Thank you, Fiona, for letting me play this extremely cheery ending game.
Yay! The What Am I Rolling podcast was created, recorded, and edited by me, Fiona Howat. This episode's players were Fiona Howat and Sam Robins. This episode's RPG was The Quiet Year, an RPG map game created by game designer Avery Alder of Buried Without Ceremony. You can find out more information about The Quiet Year and other Buried Without Ceremony games on their website. That's buriedwithoutceremony.com. The theme music was 8-Bit March by Twin Musicon of twinmusicon.org, licensed under a Creative Commons 4.0 license. If you want to find out more about the podcast, check out the website. That's www.wairpodcast.com. Fancy getting in touch? Email the podcast at whatamirollingpodcast@gmail.com. Finally, follow the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at WAIR_podcast for the latest news on upcoming episodes. And remember, adventurers need not apply.